All right, hey everybody, welcome back to Traveling with Justin. I am Justin, and today we are going to talk about something that you need to know that's going to go into effect here, not this year, but maybe next year. And that's for Europe, and that's coming up right after this. Hey everybody, welcome back to Traveling with Justin. I am Justin, and yes, we are going to be talking about one of the things you need to get into the European Union, and that is called the European Travel Information and Authorization System, or ETIAS for short. So you're probably thinking, what is this ETIAS all about? Well, it's basically is to protect the European area, the European Union, those ones who's joined it and things like that, from external threats. Okay, so there was lots of reasons, but here are some of the main reasons why. Migration, not regular migration, but irregular migration. Human trafficking, and terrorism are up there towards the top. And there's lots of other reasons, but those three that comes to mind right there, they want to curb those abilities to happen here in the European Union. All right, so let me ask and answer some questions about this ETIAS. I think that's going to be happening there in the European Union. All right, so what is it? A travel authorization for visa-free visitors. I'll get to those for visa-free visitors here in a moment. So who needs it? Travelers from visa-exempt countries. Where it applies? All 29 countries of the Schengen area. Okay? How to apply? There's an online application form. Cost, right now it's projected to be €7. Free fee per applicant, but those below 18 and over 70 are free. Approval time, it's often within minutes, but it could take up to a few days depending on the circumstance. And how long is it valid for? Well, 3 years or until your passport expires, whichever comes first. If you live in the following countries, you'll need one. Okay, here is a picture of it if you want to pause it and take a look at that. But I'm going to name off a few of these. Okay, the Bahamas, Costa Rica, Grenada, Israel, Mexico, Peru, Ukraine, Uruguay, Barbados, Canada, okay, Japan, Malaysia, Samoa, the United Arab Emirates, Venezuela, United Kingdom, South Korea, and New Zealand, Hong Kong, Georgia, the country of Georgia, not the state of Georgia, Brazil, and the United States of America. That is just a handful of countries that are required to have this entry into it. Yeah. So if you want to, you can pause the video, take a look at this right here, and you can decide for yourself. Okay. All right. So I think that's a total of like 60 countries. So here's the timeline of the breakdown of this coming into effect. 1985, the Schengen Agreement was signed. 1985, it was implemented. And then 2001, the September 11th tax on the United States has a little potential to that as well. 2015, the European migration crisis, rise in terrorist attacks in Europe. So in 2016, you had the UK leaving the countries. Then in 2018, the ETIAS was implemented into legislation. 2025, it was scheduled to launch, but not really. It wasn't ready. So in Q4 of 2026, this should be going into effect. I know it's like, Justin, it's only freaking May of 2025. What are you talking about this now? Well, to get you prepared for upcoming trips, okay? So yes, in 2026, and actually the Q4, this will go into effect. Hopefully, maybe. But I'm just trying to get you to think about it. I know it's a long way off and things like that, but it's just something to have in the back of your mind that if you're traveling to Europe, to watch and look out for things like this, okay? All right, so the application process is going to be pretty straightforward. All right, so according to this website, I'll put it right here and then I'll put it down in the description as well. It's going to be a straightforward online process, okay? Once you apply your information, it'll be cross-checked with Interpol and Europol just to see if you have a record that would affect you coming into the European Union. And if you do, then that might be a problem. If you don't, it should be approved within minutes. But if you do have a record, it could take up a little bit longer, up to like 96 hours for it to process. But you still could get rejected if that record. So you might have to appeal. So let me break down some steps right here. Step 1, fill out the information. Step 2, pay the $7 euro. Or if you're under 18 or above 70, it's free. The system will process the application electronically and will cross-check data from security databases. Travelers will receive approval within minutes. Some travelers may be required to send additional documentation. So like if you have a record, you might have to send that. And travelers can appeal their application if it's rejected. Okay, and it will also talk about the rejections and what you can do and things like that. That website will talk all about that, okay? So it's a pretty straightforward process. That's what they're saying anyway. And this is meant to be for travelers that are staying under 90 days. So if you plan on staying over 90 days, you'll have to go through and get a regular visa. But this is just for the short-time traveler. So if you're like flying into, say, Rome to visit the Colosseum and the Vatican and things like that, and you're only going to stay like a week, it's perfectly fine. Okay? If you were staying longer, then it's going to be a visa. So after 90 days, visa. If you're staying between 1 and 89 days, this should be fine. All right, so here's a list of the countries that are requiring this ETIS in 2026, okay? So we have Croatia, Estonia, Germany, Latvia, Malta, Portugal, Slovenia, Spain, Romania, Netherlands, Lithuania, Hungary, Finland, the Czech Republic, Bulgaria, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Poland, Slovakia, and Sweden. Some non-European countries that are requiring this is Cyprus. And then associate countries requiring this is Iceland, Lithuania, Norway, Switzerland. Then outside of the EU that's requiring this is the Vatican. It's inside of Italy, but they're requiring it. San Marino, Morocco, and Andorra. Okay? So, yeah, those are the countries that are requiring this from every country that's visa-free. So, like the United States, where I'm at, I would have to apply and get approved before my travels. Okay, so let's say I am going on a cruise, and I am flying to Rome. Of course, Rome is in Italy, and I would have to get this approved. And then I am going to say go over to Greece. Greece isn't on that list, so it wouldn't matter. Just do what Greece says and the visa for your country. But I'm going to go to France, and then I'm going to go to Spain. That is good. I just would have to get it out to make sure I tell them what countries I'm going in with that. And then from Spain, I am going to fly up to Sweden. It covers Sweden because Sweden is part of that countries, but I just have to make sure that I tell them where I'm going and how long I'm going to be there. So it's going to be interesting come 2026 when this all goes into effect for this European Travel Information and Authorization System. It will work with something else I'll be talking about next week, and it'll be interesting. But right now, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, unless you're in a country that requires visas, then yes, you will have to get a visa to still go there. Okay, you still have to get a visa no matter what to go to the European Union. So, but it will be interesting come 2026 when this goes into effect, when I, being a United States citizen, will have to get approved in order to travel around Europe. So, yeah, it will be interesting. We talked about the UK last time. So that was interesting as well. But that is it for the European Travel Information and Authorization System video. I hope you guys found it useful, informational. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, well, just be dissatisfied with yourself and hit the down thumbs twice just to prove your point. And then subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. Hit that bell notifications because I've got more videos coming out here. All right, guys. Until next time, I hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you later. Bye.